for the beach and in the face, and welcome back to Catherine's place. And I hope you're all well. I fucking love you all. And we've got yet another Seiko Prospects review tonight. And this one is of the rather strange Seiko Monster SZSC003. The Generation 3 Monster. Inspector's not going to like it, but it's what I've got in the hand, and it's what I'll review. First of all, I've had some complaints from my American friends about not listing prices in dollars, so I will start off by listing the price for this when new. I believe they went for between $570 and $630 in American pounds. In UK, I think my friend, and let's take him off the cushion very close and look in the face. Stay freaky, bros. In England, well, Mr. June, the benefactorian, slapped 500 British GBP Polish zlotys for this silly little freak in around 2019, I believe. And this one is now selling used for between £550 and about £700. So that's what we've got. I don't think you can even buy it new anymore. I've tried to look for them. Maybe from Japan you can find them. But the Gen 3 is no longer really available on a daily. So I'm trying to hurry it up. This watch is not for everyone. It is the Monster, and it was introduced in the year 2000 by Seiko, and his quite grotesque appearance is where the name Monster came from. He's loved and hated in equal measure by all kinds of fuckwits. I like it, but I completely understand that it is not everybody's first pick. The first Monsters, the Gen 1s, came with 7S26 movements akin to his brother, the SKX, non-hacking, non-hand winding, and they had, and this is the biggest difference with the Gen 1s from all the other generations, they had the seconds printed underneath the indices, so you'd have 5, 10, 15, and it looked cool, but they don't do that anymore, and they were pretty cool. But the second gen entered the scene around the year 2012, and with the second generation they moved up to the hacking and hand winding 4R36 movement that everybody knows. And the Gen 2 had the wonderful sawtooth indexes, shark tooth indexes, and they just looked so fucked up. The Gen 2s, to me, are the most freaky monsters you can get, and they are the ones to go for. But you know, they did change it, and with the Gen 3 that appeared, which is this one, that appeared in 2014, the movement jumped up again to the 6R15, and which is great. It's a hacking, hand winding, and all that, and blah blah blah. And he had a 50-hour power reserve, and this particular one in this watch, I've had it running for 3 days. And I'm not fucking about, I'm not going to lie to you, it's been running between +1 and +2 a day, which is quite remarkable. Somewhere between 1 and 2. Amazing. But don't be fooled or tricked, because I've got other 6R15s that run terribly. So it's this one's a really good one, but you just don't know with those, or any Seiko movement. You know, what you're going to get. And then, of course, the fourth generation, which came along I don't know when. It's quite horrible and ugly, and I think it's around 2020 or somewhere around there. But for the first time I've ever seen, Gevin's never seen any watch company do this, we see Seiko downgrade the movement from one generation to the next. Inexplicable to me. They went back down from the 6R to the 4R movement, and it's just an ugly watch with this horrible black bezel and just looks shit. So stay away from the new ones, bros. It's such a letdown from Seiko. It really was. So specs for this, we have just under 43 millimeters of diameter. We have a 13 millimeter thickness with a lovely flat sapphire. Not sapphire, that's another thing. It's not sapphire, it's hardlex crystal. Lug to lug of somewhere around 47 to 48 millimeters, very wearable. With drilled lugs, which are great. But changing straps! Change your fucking strap now! And we have a 20 millimeter lug width, but it's a weird one with the Monstera, because it flares back out to 23 millimeters at the first link, and back down to 20 to the clasp. But on the other side of the clasp, we have this weird little freak link, which I don't quite get, which is 18 millimeters, and it's, I don't know what that's all about. So over here we have 20, and here we have an 18. Strange configuration, but that's what we've got. We've got a stamped Seiko clasp, usual fare, pressed metal, get rid of it, and 4 micro adjustment points, pin and collars of course, and it's a great bracelet. It's quite interesting. It's a one piece with a polished center, I'm not going to say link, but a center piece, brushed, polished flanks, and then of course the dreaded underwater cock. Look at it. And this one, it's hindered by its own petard. What the fuck is that? It's complete shite, but you'll never use it, and you just pretend it isn't there. Seiko, and brushed on the buckle there. Look at that! Is it for the beach, Keith? I don't know. You know what's for the beach, so I'll let you tell me. It's a totally original and unmistakable watch, the Monster. It's all stainless steel throughout. Everything is stainless steel. Visually striking mixture of brushed and polished surfaces are featuring here. An excellently done brushed steel bezel with an absolutely freaky action. Feel my pain and my pleasure as I turn this bezel. Absolutely wonderful. It feels really nice. It's pleasing to turn. Although it's not the easiest, due to the partially shrouded nature of this behemoth. At the north and south, we have partial shrouds. We have one from 10 o'clock to about 1:30 at the top, and from 7 up to the crown guard at 4 o'clock at the south end of the case. You must grip it from the sides. You can see, you can really only turn it here and in this little quadrant here, which is very small. Look at that! So let's turn it and it turns very well. Look and feel my pleasure. Beautiful. We have an unsigned crown. I don't mind that. It's got lovely knurling on it. Beautifully done. Little crown guards there. And it's got a secure grip. It opens well. pops nicely. There's no discernible wobble at all. And it winds well. We've got a quick set date. And look, it screws back in just as easily as he screwed out. It's unobtrusive. And we like it. Look at the polishing. You've got the polish here on the sides, and then you've got brushing, brush top, but the sides of the bezel are polished, top is brushed. It's very striking. It's a real piece. Look at him. So let's move on. I'm trying to read my notes, you fucking retards. We've got, unfortunately, Hardlex crystal here. Hardlex crystal for the windscreen. And also we have a Cyclops featuring, which I don't like. I don't like Cyclopses, but this one is very, I've said the word, but I'll say it again, it's unobtrusive. It's a small Cyclops, and you don't really notice it. The bezel is awesome. Blah, 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 and then shut the fuck up. The dial is freaky. Freaky as fuck. I will call it a midnight sort of blue affair. It's not quite navy blue, it's beyond that. It's not black, but it's so dark that it's almost not blue. It is blue, but I would say it's a midnight blue, black blue. And I like it. It's matte and flat, and it's, it is what it is. I love it, personally. And we have an interesting feature here. The chapter ring, I think it's a plastic chapter ring, but it reminds me of the Tudor Pelagos chapter ring. It's all notched out around the indices, which are framed in high polish. Quite lovely. Look at that. An alignment. Well, not even once, bro. What do we expect? Shinji Hattori, get rid of yourself. But it's not the worst, but far from the best. And of course, monster rocket hands. And the rocket hand does give you a lovely feature when it becomes the rocket. I like that. There we go. Of course, no sawtooth indexes of the Gen 2, but we've got tons of loom all over the place, and this is a real loom bastard. What else have I not said? The case back is screwed down. All the links are solid. End links are solid. Seiko wave as ever. And this one is... what's the date on him? Let's have a look. It's 2018 February. Just so we know. And that's the monster. What a piece. Not for everybody, but I quite like it. And there, from then on, well, we can have some comparisons. So we have size comparisons. I can compare him to a 42mm Swiss twerp. Very comparable. I'll take off my 7S and let's look. SKX. It's the same size, but it looks bigger. And massive bezel. And then of course Marine Master 300, which is bigger but looks smaller. So it's all an illusion. It really is. So what should we do? A loom shot, guys? I think so. I think we can do that. We'll do something with that. I'll try and charge them all up equally for the beach. And just give them all a little bit of a torch here. Let's have a look. Shut the fuck up. So, Monstera. Brighter than... Well, a supernova explosion has happened within my windscreen. Look at Doxa. Absolute shite. Don't make fun of me, because I still love them. But then again, if we want to really compare looms, Marine Hui out of the pierogi shop. Thank you to Mr. June for supplying this watch to the channel. Your pathetic collection is always appreciated by me. Oh, and the wrist show. What a fucking freak. What a cunt. We fucking love it. Stay freaky, bros, and never give up.